Terry Sexton, founder of Wise Leader. Let me ask you first of all, how did you get into this line of work?
To be honest, I followed my nose. It's not a career that I planned, it's only a career in hindsight because I didn't do too well at school and left school, couldn't get a job. And the mother of one of my friends, who was a careers officer at the time, and she saw that I was struggling and said, well, come into my office on Monday and we'll have a chat. So I went in there, and a week later I found myself on a course studying building, and that started my career. So I had a career in construction, to be honest, to start with. But I knew that construction really wasn't for me. I loved the characters on the projects. I really liked working with the people. But unlike a lot of my colleagues, I couldn't get interested in how much concrete we could pour in a day, things like that. It just didn't. Somewhere I knew it wasn't for me.
So you're telling me no one said to you in that careers meeting, oh, have you thought about being an occupational psychologist?
No, and I wouldn't know what that means either. No, not at all. There was no exploring of different options or anything like that. It was basically, do I like working outside? Yeah, get on this course. And that's what I did. I don't regret it because, I learned a lot about leadership. So for the job I'm doing now, I don't think I could do that job unless I had that experience. For example, I found myself at 19 years old out on a building site, building houses, leading people who are, in their 50s, been doing it for 30 years. And I'm 19 and I've got no experience and I'm trying to lead them. That's tough. That's a tough call. And the site manager I was working with at the time, his approach to leadership was shout and holler, swear at people. He's never happier until he had a big argument with a subcontractor. So I followed that style. I thought, well, that's how you lead in construction. So, I went around shouting and hollering at people, and it kind of worked. Though one guy did threaten to throw me out a window once, so that was instant feedback. Took that on board. But then the site manager went on holiday for 2 weeks, and I was left to run the site. So I carried on shouting and hollering and got absolutely nowhere. They took no notice of me at all.
How did you find a different way of leading them?
Well, they taught me, to be honest, because they came to me and said, look, Terry, all we want you to do over these 2 weeks is just make sure that we've got all the materials we need to do the job. And they said, we will sort everything else out. And they did, and the job absolutely flew. We made more progress in those 2 weeks than we'd done in the previous 6 months. We had directors from the company coming down, we were amazed and seeing what's going on here, And these guys were working all hours, and all I could do was just be on the phone, getting the materials in, getting it delivered. And they taught me really that, sometimes leadership is facilitation, it's enabling people. You don't have to be directive or forceful. Sometimes you need to get out of people's way and just enable them to work. So they taught me different styles of leadership. Use different styles for different situations. So yeah, good lesson, absolutely.
So tell me about Wise Leader. Is that the next step in this natural progression for you?
It is really, and it's me understanding more and more how you develop leaders, because quite often within an organisation you get what's called the learning and development department, and they're responsible for developing leaders. And what I'm finding is there's a lot of emphasis on learning and not a lot on development. I've been thinking, well, why is that? Why do we focus so much on learning and what that's about? And what I've realised is the learning is about learning knowledge and learning techniques. Now, in the past, learning knowledge was important, because we all went to school and you're taught stuff, and then if you're successful and pass your exams, it's based on how well you can remember or understand the stuff that you've been taught, the knowledge, and that's how we were brought up, and that's a big part of society. And when you look at programs on the television, a lot of the games all around you, what knowledge do you know, various quiz games, so it's a lot about learning knowledge is in society. But society's changing because the knowledge that we used to learn at school is all now on the internet. So you don't need to necessarily learn it because you can quickly pick it up on your phone or your tablet computer, your laptop, whatever. You can get to knowledge really easily. So knowledge is less important nowadays. What's more important is how do you use that knowledge, and that's what Wise Leader does. It's developing people to use that knowledge wisely.
So tell me how that works on a practical level. How can a leader use the tools that you're giving them to become more effective leaders?
Well, one of the fundamentals of Wise Leader is that we recognise that leaders develop through facing challenges in the workplace. Leaders don't develop by attending conference centres or reading books, or collecting, your workshop manual. Leaders develop by facing challenges in the workplace. But to be successful in those challenges, they need to, one, face the right sort of challenge for their stage of development. So we help leaders find out what stage are you at. But they also need to get the right preparation for that challenge and the right support. So what we do is we provide activities for leaders that they can use in the workplace that will help prepare them for the challenges that they're going to face. And part of that is you can read up some of the theory behind the activity for particular aspects of development, and then you engage in the activity in the workplace, and then you reflect on it and write it up in the evening. So yeah, you can do some stuff outside of work, but it's about doing the activities in the workplace, and then that prepares you, and then find the right challenge for you and engage in that challenge and be supported through it. And Wise Leader provides the right challenge, or guide you towards the right challenge, can provide you with the right preparation and the right support.
Why, out of other resources that are available online, should people go for Wise Leader?
For me, the reasons why people should go for Wise Leader is that compared to a lot of the other resources online, we focus on development. A lot of people online are putting knowledge online, which is great. You need the knowledge, absolutely. You do need that, don't get me wrong, but it's flooded with knowledge. Yeah. So what we do is we focus on development, because that's missing. That is really missing. How do people develop, if you like, their source, the basis of their capability to use the knowledge or to use the techniques? And that's what we're working with, your basic capability, how you think, how you feel, your emotions, and how you act, your behaviour. And we're working with those fundamentals. You get them right, then you'll be successful. You can successfully use all that knowledge and all those techniques.
Wise Leader. Psychology in your hands.